Greetings to all of you, and I welcome you to this broadcast. As you join, please let me know whether you hear me clearly and you also see me clearly on both YouTube and Facebook. As you can see, there's a rally. There's a flyer here for a peace rally to be held on Sunday, this Sunday, the 4th of May at 11 a.m. at the Independence Park. This is important because we speak to independent thinkers. This is by the Guyana Trade Union Congress in collaboration with religious community, National Farmers Organization, and other civil organizations. We hear speakers include Lincoln Lewis, Pandit Ubajanarayan, Norris Witter, Jenna Raman, Ross Kafra, Nicole Cole, Apostle Nigel London, that's me, Beatrice Parks, Charlie Wilkinson, Brother Wazir Latif, Odessa Primus. This is very important. If ever there is time, and PPP leaders, could come as well, or the AFC, whatever party you represent, this is a peace rally on the Independence Park because we're speaking to independent thinkers. On Sunday, the 4th of May at 11 a.m. There is need for us, I reiterate, there is a need for us to have national conversations. Irfaan Ali, you could come, it's right around the corner from where you are. Walk and come out here and speak to the people. Let us hear your heart because you're speaking to the hearts of men today. Tell us that you're okay with what I'm about to show the Guyanese population. So there you have it. There's a peace rally to be had. Sunday, the 4th of May. We're gathering peacefully. We're gathering in the best interest of our nation. The trade unions are going to be represented there. Civil society be represented. The farmers organization. Look at the kind of people who you have because you have a national crisis on our hand that has to be addressed. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so thankful that you can spend this moment with me. Welcome. Adrianna Younge. Her cruel demise has led us to this place. Somebody's hollering for me in my gate. Y'all don't go anywhere. Stay right there. I mute my microphone. Thank you. Adriana was Adriana was murdered. Adriana was killed by the hands of people. Period. How do we know this? Y'all stay with me this morning. Look at Doubleday's pool at night. I don't want any daytime photograph because in the day, it's obviously much clearer. There's nothing better than the light of day. The clearest light The purest light is daylight. This is at night, Irfan. You tell me which human body can hide in a pool. Look at how small the pool is. It's not as a big a pool as I was in yesterday, where you can see a key. How could a human being hide in there, Irfan, when your boy critic told us all that she was not there? Have you
Management. They said,
forgotten?
we're going out with the cameras. There's a female washroom here. There's a bar here. The management explained to me that when you come and if you're going to use the pool, and as you can see, you see the pool here clear. Like when the family said they went in the pool and check, everybody went in the pool and check. Normally, you ain't got to check if there's a body in this pool. You could see it because the pool is clear. Right? So, obviously the young lady, the 11-year-old who has gone missing from this place is not in this pool. Right? So I walking around, I look in, I talk to management before I talk to the mother and the father to make sure I have an inclusive story. Everybody knows what's going on, why it's going on and so on. Right? So you got the pool here.
Irfan, Irfan Ali, did you hear when Guyanese critic said, critic doesn't represent the PNC, he doesn't represent AFC, he doesn't represent the People's Movement, he doesn't represent any other group but the all. He represents Barra Jagdu more than anything else. Your boss, your father, your leader. And he went there to say that the girl's family said they went into the pool and searched. Because there's some PPP supporters who've lost their sense of hearing. They don't hear anymore. It is not a pool that's an Olympic size. It's a small pool. And they said that they went into the pool to search. The pool could be as murky as anything you want. The pool could be as dark as the Demerara River. I don't care how you all try to spin this. And I am angry, and I have been angry. I remain angry because my God Yahweh is angry. He's angry at you, and you're going to be made an example spiritually to this whole world. You don't realize what's happened to you already. It has started. I told you this is going to embarrass you publicly. And you cannot tell me, Irfan, that this is not an embarrassment where nations of the world have now seen that you are leading a country, you're leading a people, you're leading policemen and others who are corrupt. So those of you who want to bring the murky water stupidness and idiotic, moronic speeches, it doesn't work here because critics said the people went into the pool and searched. That's what he said. And they say a person, he said the girl's family, speaking to more than one person, a group of people, and others went into the pool and searched. She was not there. But just to help you a little further, Irfan Ali, let me show you something. And all you'll want to talk is if you have no brain. Can you see the bottom? Um, I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, PPP supporters who have to support murder. This pool is 16 feet deep. It is the shallowest that a pool can be for Olympic diving is 16 feet. It can be as deep as 20 feet or more, but it has to begin at 16 feet for platform diving and so on. Can you all see the bottom of that pool? That pool is 16 feet deep. It's covered by a dome. So it's artificial light. Now, the pool that Adriana was thrown into had natural daylight, natural light. Critic went at night and he showed you that there's obviously nobody there. They were searching for her during the daytime. So it has natural light. Can you all see the bottom of this pool, please? Can anybody tell me if they can see the bottom? Akani, my friend, can you see the bottom of this pool? This pool is 16 feet deep. Can you see lines at the bottom of that pool? You think if I throw my car key into that pool, you'll see it? Think if I throw a gold coin at the bottom of that pool, you'll see it? Much more a whole human being? Oh, the tangled web we weave. When we at first seek to deceive. I'd have some more painful images for you all there, fam, because I'm not done with you and I would never be finished with you. How about this? Do you know what this image is? Can you all see people in there? That's a diver, by the way, who dove into a pool that's 16 feet or more deep, and she didn't surface. Actually, the coach sat and saw her while she sank. Do you see somebody going down to pick somebody up from the bottom of the pool? So how do you see 16 feet deep, but you can't see Adriana in a pool that's 8 feet deep? Share the broadcast. I don't normally ask you to do so, but this requires international attention. This requires international attention. The revelation of their hearts. What's on their minds? What has them thinking the way they do? And so, as a result of this, the PPP Civic would have opted to, instead of seeking to do what is normal and humanly sensible, instead of saying to Bola, who's the owner of the hotel, that boy will make an example of you. You tell us there was no lifeguard. You tell us that the cameras were serviced. Well, where's the serviceman? Who serviced the camera? Instead of telling us all of this Jim Cock bring Ram Goat story and Cock and Bull story, we will make an example of you, because instead of telling us the truth, you want to hop around the place and say nonsense. Instead of telling us that, Mandel, you have the nerve to stand in front of a hotel and prevent people from going to search for this child. You didn't bring the SWAT team and any other team and all the rest of them to find this girl, but you stand to say nobody must go in there, or else we'll make an example of you. Instead of telling Smith and others who were there, you all want to stand and watch, which is unheard of. You're police officers, and you could be so cold-hearted, cold-blooded to stand and watch a little girl in the pool, and none of you even reach out to your aunt to pull her inside. Oh, we saw the girl. We don't know if she's really there. Let's pull her out to see if she is breathing, and perform CPR. You did nothing because you know exactly the state she was in already. I would like to think so. Instead of saying to them, we'll make an example of y'all. Oh, okay. What did you do? You decided. You made a decision that the public, including those who classified as scrapes, and I'll get to that in a minute, because you see how much you'll regret this. They are the enemy, not Bola, because people just decided they're going to go on roads and burn tires for no reason. There was nothing to trigger the response. There was no action that caused a reaction. In English language, which Irfan is not too familiar with, but in English language, you're taught in writing skills and in writing stories. They teach you about themes, and the main one is cause and effect. Most stories, most movies and everything, they built on a theme of cause and effect. Something caused a response. Something happened, there's a cause, and then there's an effect. In Guyana, the PPP's administration is telling all Guyanese that there's no cause, there are only effects. All that happens around you in this world, in Guyana, is an effect. In Linden, they shot Ronaldo Peters. One man shot Ronaldo Peters, Kendall, who said he had a gun in his hand, in his right hand, because he's right-handed. We saw him come out the bus with a gun in his hand. Holding a gun in his right hand, he would have held on to somebody with the same right hand, and the trigger was pulled. How? Okay. Now, how do we expect to tell a generation that was born in an internet age, not like Jack Dio, not like Sam Hines, not like you, Irfan? They're born in the age of real-time information, fact-checking, and where you can have access to anything in the world in terms of information. That's why it's so hard to classify things nowadays. You're telling this generation that a police officer can walk with a gun in his right hand, run after Ronaldo Peters with a gun in his right hand, grab Ronaldo Peters It has to be with his right hand, because if you grab him with the left hand, then the gun won't fire off and shoot him in his waist. But you grab him with this hand, or you grab him with this hand, and the trigger was pulled because it makes perfect sense to God. Okay, well, let's it happen. You grab him with both hands, and then the gun went off. Okay, fine. They lied, and they lied to say that Ronaldo Peters was shot by an officer who was clad in his uniform. Once you tell one lie, we don't believe any part of the story. He was dumped into a minivan where there were two other officers there, and we don't know who they are. We have seen none of them. They went there in a heavily tinted vehicle to get a young man who wound up being dead at the hospital. That's a cause. The PPP decided that the cause doesn't matter. What matters is the effect. So people were on the road then, burning tires, throwing bottles, livid, burning debris, saying, "Y'all murdered this boy." That's the cause. The police showed up and started to shoot, and they shot and killed Fujine, called Dan. That's another cause. So the effect was that people began to behave even crazier. The PPP's administration said to you, don't worry about that cause either. Just focus on the effect. So the people blocked the bridge. People started burning stuff on the bridge. Our bridge, by the way. It's not the PPP's bridge. It's our bridge. We, the Guyanese, own the bridge. Not the PPP owns the bridge. Not the men who have trucks to cross the bridge. Not the businessmen who are waiting for stone to go to Georgetown because they have stone to sell. It is our bridge, including those drivers as well. It's all of us own it. But what does the PPP tell you? The PPP says, no, no. Do not look at the cause. You ought to pay attention to the effect. So you're now led by a group of people who tell you how to think. This is North Korea. We need to change our country to not the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Change the name to the the second state of North Korea. We're in North Korea here. We're in North Korea, where you are told how to think. You do not even have the liberty to say that something caused a behavior. Do not say that. And when you respond to the cause, you're a terrorist. And what is your future? Let's talk about this, Irfan. Several charged with terrorism face up to 15 years in prison or death penalty. And in a capitalist nation, let me leave Anil there. Anil is the Minister of Legal Affairs, Minister of Attorney General. And as an Attorney General, Anil Nandalal, who's supposed to be a father, I think he got a child by now, so he's qualified to be called one. Anil is prepared to say that his son, if his son or his daughter, whatever he has, were to burn a tire in response to police shooting her friend, that child must be called a terrorist and should face the death penalty. Irfan Ali has two sons. If Zayd decides, or whatever your son's name is, to go into the road because his father was beaten by somebody or shot by somebody, and Zayd decides and his little brother decide they're going to burn tires and they're going to break up people's glass because they're mad that somebody shot and killed Irfan. Irfan is telling us that he's prepared for his son to face a death penalty for that. If Zayd goes decide, well, it'd be even worse. I'll go and take people things, I'll loot with my friends, and I'll just take a generator out of a store or take some flour out of the store because I'm hungry, so I need something to eat. I'll take some drinks because I need something to drink. I can't afford to buy these things, so I'll just take them for free since I have a chance to do so. Irfan's saying that his son is worthy of the death penalty because he's a terrorist. If Bharat's daughters decide, since people want to beat up their father and maybe kill their father in rage for some reason, and they go to the road, if Bharat would have been Dan, or Bharat is Adriana, or Bharat would have been Ronaldo Peters, if his daughters decide that they're going to burn debris on the road. They're going to throw rocks on the road. They're going to break some glass in some stores because they are enraged. Because when people get mad, they break dishes in the house. Don't forget that. And many of these people, you all live that reality. You all who want to pay rich and stuff like that, when people get mad and they come home, they break up all the dishes, they break the TV and all that. You know what I'm talking about because I know your story. And what do you deserve? The death penalty. These people are telling you all that. And you who support this party are saying to us that you are okay with this. OC, I called him because you know me and I know you. And I call him often because of what you stand to defend. OC, you haven't spoken to this. And I need you, with all the pressure you bear, to come out to tell us that you support this. Akani, I'm calling you out to say that this is what you stand for. Tell us that this is what you men would support. But in a capitalist society, capital, which is money, matters. So money matters. The wealthy must be protected because the wealthy controls the state. Guyana is a socialist nation according to our constitution. Today, I'm going to give you some educational information to save your life if I can. Guyana is defined in our constitution as a socialist nation, meaning that the society rules the country. The society benefits from the country. The society builds the country. We are socialist. Everybody in our country is entitled to equal opportunities and equal benefits. We are a socialist nation in the constitution. The PP has thrown that out the window and said, no, we are a capitalist nation because the Chamber of Commerce and the businessmen, they have to be protected at all costs. So we're going to call these little boys terrorists and sentence them to death if possible to protect the capitalists, to protect the capital, the money. I hope that StreamYard keeps Anil and this on the screen. Here, finale, this is what you're. It's not all this Barrett's leading the PPP and Barrett leading the country. You are sitting as president. You, not Barrett. You are sitting in the seat of president. You live in our state house. It's not your house. It's our house. And the record will show that you were paid to be president when all of this happened. When you labeled young men as terrorists, sentencing or putting them to potential death sentence for breaking glass windows, if they did, if it's they who did it, burning tires on public roads, which will be their roads, they own them too. Now, someone will just grab this and say, London said he supports you burning tires, because I know how dunce your supporters have to be and how dunce anybody who has to defend what has happened would have to be. To say that Adriana was murdered. Ronaldo Peters was murdered. Dan was murdered. The other men who were on the road were slaughtered. But that does not matter. What matters is that even when the pool was empty, nobody was there, and critics says there's nobody here. And then suddenly she popped up, she was put in there the next morning. We must accept Irfaan Ali's statement and do nothing. Because if you respond to Ali's statement and show any sign of rage, which any normal human being would do, you are a terrorist. And if one of our boys is sitting on the bench, we tell him to sentence you to death or give you 15 years in jail, because you must not object with any form of anger to what Ali said and to what you saw. It gets even worse. They're saying to you that you must not even say what you see. So if you see a human being who could obviously be seen on any day, even at night, when the moon was bright at I used to go fishing in the Bahamas. We didn't have light of the sun. When the moon, which would be reflecting light of the sun, was out, we go to catch a fish called mutton fish, and you could see sharks swimming 30, 40 feet below you. Yes, in the Bahamas, on the island of Great Inagua, some of the clearest waters in the world. You could see in Exuma. You can see the bottom of in the shallow part of the ocean at night. There's no pool lights on, and Irfan is telling you, do not think, do not even have the courage to think and say that it's like these men. I tell you again, who could put on a wig, put lipstick on the mouth, put and say, I'm a woman. And you have to say, yes, you're a woman. Or in Canada, you go to jail because you triggered somebody. So you're going to say that Nigel London supports burning tires on the road because Nigel London supports terrorism. But let me help you to see what the PPP supporters will say. What do you support? I don't believe in discrimination. And because I do not believe in discrimination, I will not discriminate. I do not discriminate in the context of this situation. Every Guyanese has the right to be treated equally according to the law. So I do not discriminate. Do not let me discriminate today. So let's see. Irfan, Anil, this is in 2020. This by Enmore, where your supporters were reacting to the results of the election, saying you're going to tease this election. Which one of them is before the court facing a death sentence for terrorism? Because this is what was happening in our streets. Who from this group can you present to us the photographs and the report that these people are before the court? They label terrorists, they face 15 years in jail or the death penalty. This is a public road, Irfan. This is not a private road. Remember, you have an issue with them burning public places. This is a public road. This is the public road. This is not a private road. It could be bad settlement in one of those areas as well, but it's a public road. We know that. And they're burning tires, they're burning debris, they're throwing, you see on them, the hands up, they're throwing. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're throwing at the policemen. Which one of them is before the court, Anna? Let me make your life easy for you. Which one of these is before the court facing this situation here? Several charged with terrorism face up to 15 years in prison or death penalty if convicted. Which one of these? Let's not discriminate. Oh, I have one more for you, Anil. Don't worry. Oh, this one here. Do you see the red encircling the gun in his hand? Do you remember that fellow who said this time a long time? He was by Enmore with a gun in his hand, Anil. Show me one scrape, as you want to call these boys. One scrape, Anil, with a gun in his hand. I just want to see one. With a gun in hand like that one had it. So is he not a terrorist? Because the police, if one of these boys that you have paraded here had a gun in his hand, he would be a strainer. He'd be a sieve. He'd be like a basket today. That man was standing at Enmore with a gun in his hand, publicly brandishing it, which is unlawful, by the way. Help us, Anil. So I'll put this on it. No, this can't pass. This cannot pass. You have to see a PPP troll. I would not let this go by. No, this has to go on the stage. Jackass. You see them looting? So to be called a terrorist, you have to be looting. Only if the Barrett, you need to remanufacture donkeys. Please issue a recall for the donkeys. This isn't working. What you manufactured, Freedom House, is not working well. Because I cannot comprehend that I'm telling y'all, I'm saying to you that you're defending the wealthy, you're defending capitalists, you're defending those who have businesses because they're the ones who you're protecting. You're protecting money. And then this one will go to say, jackass, you see them looting. So a terrorist is one who loots. Thank you very much. You have made my point. In Guyana, a terrorist is somebody who loots. If you are not looting, you're not a terrorist. So therefore, he is not a terrorist because he's not looting. He's standing with a gun, threatening police officers, threatening the public with a gun in his hand. But he's not a terrorist because he's not looting. These are not terrorists because they are not looting. They're just standing there, burning things on the public road, throwing missiles at people, injuring the nurse, remember that, injuring police officers, but they're not terrorists. Because a terrorist is now defined by Andrew Jiram as one who loots. If you do not loot, you are not a terrorist. Should I say anything else? Because this has made my point. This has made my day. I never dreamt that I would see someone be so bold to say that when you loot and you steal from the businessman, that's the only time we call you a terrorist and sentence you to death, because your life is worth a generator. Your life is worth a sack of flour. If you steal one bottle of soda, or you steal one kind of bleach, or you steal a chair or a mattress from a house, you are a terrorist. Or from a store. Once you break a glass, you sentence to death. That is your new reality, Guyanese. And I'm happy that Jairam was willing to define it for you all. So that is why Amir Ahmad is not called a terrorist. Though he was in the street with guns shooting, and he's not a police officer. Though he was shooting in the public square, he is not a terrorist because he wasn't shooting. So he's not a terrorist. You were speaking to those who broke the glass of stores, but you would not speak to those who broke the glass of a bus that has school children in it and they got their head busted open. No, because they are not terrorists. So breaking the glass of a store to take something out is 10 times worse, 1 million times worse than breaking the glass of a school bus and injuring little children. You're a terrorist if you open the break something from a store. How dare you? But if you throw a rock and bust the literal head in the bus when they're going home from school, you're not a terrorist. You are a defender of democracy. Do you understand, Irfaan Ali, what you are leading? Do you understand, Irfaan Ali, what you and your cabinet have created? And you of the view that this generation of young Indo-Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, Amerindians, and mixed races will sit back, this generation here, not like the old time generation, would sit back and say, oh, so you could kill our young people. You could kill my classmates and stuff, and you could say, um, if anybody reacts to be terrorists, but you protect the terrorists who went there to stop anybody from accessing Adriana's person to save her life, possibly. Oh, Oh, so those who got mad because it's a generation we deal with Irfaan Ali. Those who got upset and began to fight in the street, they're the terrorists. But those who killed this girl, they are to be protected because they're patriots. You think this generation of young Indo-Guyanese will accept y'all and Afro-Guyanese? There's a new generation y'all haven't catered to. And this new generation are crazier than you think. Not with violence, but with processing. They would assess you in a heartbeat. And once they figure you out, you're finished. And I'm telling you that what y'all are doing now would sink you even deeper. Because this generation don't accept a bull. You will tell this generation, the young ladies in this generation, Irfan, the young Indo-Guyanese ladies, Afro-Guyanese ladies, Amerindian ladies, Chinese ladies, because they're all being made nationals now. And they're ladies who say, well, hold on, these girls aren't stupid. If somebody, some rich boy, look, this is how they process now. If some rich man in this country, his son decides to rape me and kill me, as long as he's connected to the PPP, that's the kind of protection he'll get, and my family will not even be allowed to find me. You think there's no reason like that? Let me share with you all. For the first time in my being a father, I saw my teenage girl saying, and the other one, we are going to vote. This is the first time. They don't have time with politics and stuff. But when Adriana's situation happened, and then you all started saying, oh, you're terrorists, and we're going to shoot you on the road, and they realized, hold on, the first thing that the policemen are doing when they come to my friends, because they grew up with some of these boys, they grew up around these people, they live in a community of people. They may have gone to school with some of them. So if they're home seeing their schoolmate in a crowd, and the very first thing that the policemen are doing when they approach them, raise the gun. Blah, blah. You feel these young people say, wait, so you could just shoot my former schoolmate because he's on the road throwing a brick or throwing a bottle? They have now said, we have to vote. On TikTok, on the gram, on Instagram, they're communicating, they're talking, and they're saying, we are going to vote. Not for Irfan, not for Bharat. No, they haven't mentioned who they're voting for. They're saying we are voting against you. We don't care who it is. We are going to vote against you. And all your political leaders who want to be quiet and be all nice and just have a few statements here and there, do nothing to stand in the street on their behalf, they're saying we voting against you all too. Because you're not showing us that you understand our plight. Brother, let me present you with the Constitution, Irfaan Ali. Because you don't seem to understand why you're in the position you are right now. I know that you don't. I doubt you ever will.
Today, as I said, was an important day in evaluating the circumstances and the death of Ariana. And I just want to briefly share with you what was shared with the police representative and shared with me. The forensic pathologists, as you know, as Frank said, were brief, and they started the work sometime around 1:20 p.m. That's when completing the procedure, the forensic pathologists rule out signs of physical and sexual trauma on Ms. Young's body. After careful deliberation, the team concluded that Ms. Young died as a result of drowning. Ms. Young's relatives were briefed following the examination and informed of the medical cause of death. Due to the state of the decomposition of Ms. Young's body, the pathologists were unable to provide an exact time of death. The relatives were also informed that the pathologists ruled out theories of forcible drowning or any other means of killing, followed by disposal of the body in water. So that was what
Just for those of you who do not know, I have a friend. His name is Marvin Duncombe. We work together in the Bahamas. I want to share this with you for a reason. Because if you notice when Irfaan Ali's finished, remember he did that? He read something, he was looking. I'd tell you the telltale signs of lying. I had a friend, his name is Marvin Duncombe. Marvin Duncombe was a principal, I was the vice principal acting in the Bahamas. And when there's situations of a certain nature, he'd call me, say, London, come. I know that you will get this child to tell the truth. And you could tell if the child is lying. Why? Because, okay, right. So studying people's body language, and you know this to be true, has a lot to do with understanding how human beings behave and what they're doing under what circumstance. Irfan knew these lying. Irfan knew that he was telling an absolute lie. Hence, because his throat got dry from the fact that, listen, I have to read this. I actually have to say that the pathologist told me or said in a report that they've ruled out her being put into the pool. Irfan knew, more than likely he saw Critic standing there because Critic had to be allowed in there to give the concept that she was nowhere around. So y'all go and search somewhere else, please. She isn't here. That was more than likely the plan. What y'all seem to be forgetting, Irfan, is that this child's grandmother said that she sent her to get a band. She was found in a pool with a tight jeans and a top. I need to know if you're allowed to swim in that manner in double D pool, because normally you're not allowed to wear jeans in the pool. That's a rule. You cannot swim in the pool with jeans. They will tell you flat out, no jeans allowed. It's actually a sign. No jeans allowed in the pool. That's normally an sign at the average pool. Is double D's pool an exception where you're allowed to swim in jeans? Well, it could be, probably, but I don't know that normally happens. But the young girl's grandmother said that she sent her to get a band. Okay. I made him for the grandmother to see whether she saw Adriana return and go into the pool to start swimming. And if she returned to go into the pool to start swimming, then okay, she said somebody said they were hungry, and Adriana may have said she's hungry. She wants something to eat. Within looking back, she disappears from the pool. When she sent somebody who was there with her, okay, so she got out of the pool to use the restroom. Then that's a suggestion. She got out maybe to use the washroom, but she didn't tell anybody she's going to the washroom. She just got out to say, I'm going to the washroom. She got to the washroom and within minutes, she was not found. So she got out of the pool to go to the washroom and she didn't come back. Why are we searching the pool? So for Irfan to have to sit there, he had to, because the police know what I'm telling y'all. You who have to question people at Eve Leary, y'all know, or on Vicinity Road, y'all know exactly what I'm telling you. You know exactly what I'm telling you. One of the telltale signs, his eyes couldn't focus. Because to bring himself to the place of saying that she was not put in the pool, that's a tough one. That's the hardest thing to ask because he knows that there'll be a response to that he doesn't want to deal with. Additionally, Irfan is aware of the fact that it was said to us that the pathologist's report will be published. Today is Friday. Where is the report? 3 pathologists and 1 chosen as a family doctor. None of them could publish. I see no media, even the state media, not Guyana Chronicle, not Kaichun, not NCN. None of you, GPI, none of you can publish. Charles Ramson's father, you are responsible for public information. You paid how many millions of dollars a year to feed information to us? You have never once done so in this situation. When your job is to inform the public. Y'all forget Irfan has 2 sons. You can never have 2 children if you love them for 2 seconds, and know that Adriana was murdered And then to say the pathologist ruled out her being put in the pool. Look at this. If you know anything about dogs, this is Hulk, the world's largest pit bull. He was touted as. Hulk died. Look at this family crying over a dog. Look at the father, Hulk's owner. He got this pit bull and he said he never dreamt this dog could become so big. He used to just play with the dog a lot because he was homeless. The dog was his only companion, and he and Hulk would be in the park and he'd be teaching Hulk different things, and Hulk began to show up very high IQ. So he fell in love with this dog. They spent years together, and Hulk made this man a millionaire, if you don't know that. Hulk made him a millionaire. Now Hulk is dead. Look at this reaction to a dog. And Irfaan is saying that with Adriana being murdered and Adriana being the police standing in front of there to prevent the population of Tushan around those who were there outside from going to find this girl, we should be nice people. Then he could be crying for a dog like this. Then the son could be weeping over a dog. Think about if this were your child, Irfaan, and Granger sat there to say the pathologist have ruled out that Zaid was put in a pool. After you know the pool was checked by you or your friends, you know that nobody found Zaid in the pool. You saw a critic, or in this case, if it's Granger, maybe one of the other ones who used to work with Mondale Smith. Mondale, when he was alive, was walk the pool, and Mondale was able to show that nobody's there. And then Granger sat and say the pathologist have ruled out that Zaid was put in the pool. You tell me, Irfaan, what you would have done. Tell us. Tell us what your response would be, Irfaan Ali. Would it be like this? Should we have expected that? Because that imagine this is over an election, or Granger not calling an election, or Granger not announcing after the no confidence motion that there should be an election, which should have happened within 90 days. Imagine, look at your behavior. You're surrounded our vehicle in which Karen Cummins was. I didn't see police shooting anyone. You name one occasion from 2020 August to now when you saw any crowd gather around any of your ministers, Irfaan Ali, in our vehicle. Show us one image of a crowd gathering around them and behaving like you. Show us one, just one, not two. Show us one occasion since we have scrapes and all that on the street. Show us one. But let me just tell you about the scrapes part. And this is the part of the video where you have to pay careful attention. And if you don't, come off because I can't help you. If you are dense, come off. I won't be able to help you. If you, Irfaan Ali, are unaware, which I think you are, you're unaware of what is in our constitution. I know that you are. That's why you behave the way you do. Bharat Jaggi is also ignorant of what's in the constitution because he doesn't care about it. All you care about is capitalism, which is to make money. In order for you to make money in this country the way you all do it, and your friends, your families, your dogs, your cats, your cockroaches do it, it has to be where you ignore the constitution. That is why with the oil wealth flowing through our country, or your country, which is the top, your friends and so on, that's the country. Guyana is no longer about the Amerindians. It's not about the Essequibans. It's not about those in Kokwani. It's not about those in the remote parts of the beast. No, Guyana for y'all would be the PPP membership who are faithful and willing to cuss out anybody who says a word about the PPP. The ministers who are faithful and willing to lie, to be barefaced, come in the public and act like right. Y'all are the ones. Guyana is now the population for y'all is maybe about 500 people. That's Guyana. That's why you could burst onto the scene with a ridiculous showing of wealth because it's just about 500-600 of y'all, if so many. When I can't find my dog, I leave my house and search my community. You swear I'm searching for a person. Much more, if only a child. I go through the bushes to find my dog. And you tell a father, I'm saying you because you appointed Robson, then who leads Hicken, who you appointed. You appointed Hicken. Hicken leads Mandel. Mandel leads the other ranks beneath him. So it comes back to you. I search for my dog like a person. Think what if I can't find my child? What I will do? And imagine a father standing for over 12 hours asking y'all to let them find the child. And you say nobody's going in here. And when they find the child dead, put in a pool, you would sit and say that the pathologist told you that she wasn't put there. Then you expect that there be no effect. And even when the people stood in front of the hospital, nobody was throwing a rock in front of the Johnson Hospital. Nobody was throwing anything. Gunshots. And when people started being shot and they say, now hold on, we have to react. You say you're terrorists. You can be sentenced to death because you reacted in a manner that we don't accept. Okay, finale. I will give you 2,000, and it's less than that, but I'll give you 2,000 members of the Guyana Police Force. 2,000. 2,000. In the army, it's published. It's not public knowledge that there are about 4,000 to 4,400 maximum. But I'll give you 5,000 soldiers. So you have 2,000 plus 5,000, you have 7,000 who are qualified to carry weapons. Mohammed Irfaan Ali. At this moment, there are more than 50,000 Venezuelans in this country. Let me go to you again. I will give to you 2,000 policemen and 5,000 soldiers, although we have not 5,000 soldiers in our army. So 5,000 will include the fire service people. You have eliminated the national service. You've wiped out the militia, as it should be. Those who protect people. Those who are Burnham is building an army to extend beyond the Guyana Defense Force. They don't even have sense to exist anymore. That's a running thing. So if you have the paramilitary, which I'll give another, so we add that 5,000 Defense Force paramilitary, 2,000 policemen. You have 7,000 of those people. There are over 50,000 Venezuelans in this country. Not Guyanese, Venezuelans. Should Maduro decide to announce today that it's time to take Escobar because he's upset about the International Court of Justice would have ruled, there are 50,000 Venezuelans. Now, of the 50,000, let's say 10,000 or 20,000 decide, you know what, we're not going to listen to Maduro. 30,000 of them said, listen, we need to take Escobar because we see how much wealth is in this country, we need it. You have 7,000 who can take arms, and the police do not defend the state. The police defend people, civilians. The police are law keepers, or they maintain law. The law enforcement. The only people by constitution who at this time, not constitution, according to your behavior, who defend our country would be soldiers. So 5,000 of them would have to face 30,000 Venezuelans in this country. Not from Venezuela. They haven't crossed the border. Nobody came from the border yet. Just those you have on this soil here. 30,000 of them decide, okay, we accept what Maduro said. We're going to take a Escobar. You tell me, Irfaan Ali, tell me when can 7,000 or 5,000 people or 7,000, let me give you back the policemen, defend the nation against 30,000. Irfaan Ali, Venezuela has got missiles that can reach Georgetown. Venezuela has fighter jets. You have two Mosquito planes that can get to Georgetown within 30 minutes or an hour maximum. So why am I saying this? Why am I telling you about that, Irfaan Ali? You see these men here? Several charged with terrorism. They face up to 15 years or the death penalty. Why do I show you this, Irfaan Ali? For this cause. For this reason. Let me take my time with this one for you. This is an article of law. Guyanese do not know that. It's found in your constitution that Irfaan Ali doesn't know how to read. The Constitution of Guyana states that it is the duty of every citizen to defend the state, which is your country. I repeat, it is the duty of every citizen to defend the state. Somebody please screen grab this so you can make a reel out of it for me. Get this on your screen because the country needs to hear this. Irfaan Ali needs to hear this because he would never ever process the way that you do. Young people, youths of this country, screen grab this to me, please, and let this man understand what I'm saying to him. Although we know he wouldn't. It is the duty of every citizen, chapter 33, to defend the state. Here's my question. When you say they're scrapes, they're thugs, they deserve the death penalty, and the Venezuelans decide to act Irfaan Ali, do you expect them, these same young men here, to do this? Think, and think carefully. Is Jairam still here? Or Jaikaran? Comment here. Let me present to you our reality. Those who you see motorcycles driving, riding all over the place, and what I don't accept is, I'm telling you, I do not accept anybody destroying people's stores and breaking people's stuff because it is not your own. You shouldn't do that. I would never accept it. However, they are attacking a system called capitalism. And that's what Irfaan Ali and others do not want to talk about. Now, let me speak to you, Irfaan Ali. The store owners who are around, your cabinet, your rich friends that you created wealth for, name one of them who you know would go in front and fight Venezuelans, as opposed to those same scripts. If there's anybody who I know, because I talk to people, I interact with them in anywhere. I don't have to know scripts, foolishness. I interact with Guyanese men all the time, all young men and old. And if there's anybody who I know would be the first to go on the road and say you're not taking our country, would be those same scripts you talk about. I could put my life on the line that soldiers would run and hide and they would go just as you saw them with bricks and say, not here. You're not taking our country. Those same young men. And you could put your head in the sand all you want and say all you want. I know what I'm telling you about. They have far more courage than what you can even imagine. They love their country, but they hate the system. And if you want to, they burn tires and they scrapes, as you want to define them, we cannot discriminate. If they burn tires and they scrapes, you can't discriminate because these are burning tires over and stuff over election results. So come, those young men would be fearless if you tell them that we are going to ensure that you enjoy what is for all Guyanese. They'll be with the policemen saying, come, we have to defend Guyana. If the police show them, listen, man, we ain't come and shoot you right away. We can have a conversation and make sense. But you tell me, Irfan, you tell me, which one of those young men would want to defend a nation whose leader says that you deserve the death penalty for burning a tire in the road? Which one? You don't seem to realize that you're faced with a crisis and that you should not just sit back and tell anybody you're a scrape. What is a scrape? Majagi is sitting there being paid. Of course, he's using his presidential pension 2.7 or whatever $1 million a month, or 2.2 million. And he's just throwing these things around because it profiles a person. But let me bring this home further for you. The young men who we work together, I call them co-workers. I don't have something to do, we work together. And if a police looks at them, based on your definition, you'll say they're scrapes. But we have conversations on the job site and we talk to each other and they express frustration, but they're working. So if they're driving home from work now or walking from work, they could be shot because it's a scrape. That's what you all have done. You have profiled the people. The young Indian friend is on his motorcycle because of the new culture among them now, revving his bike around the place, because you have created a culture through entertainment and you don't want to take responsibility for it. You do not want to take responsibility for what you've created. And I have a problem with that. With your pals and all y'all have created this because the entertainers have to make money. So they bring artists to Guyana and y'all have a big showdown, big party and all the rest of it. And they make millions of dollars. But now that you're seeing the young men acting what the singers sing on stage, you have a problem. What you need to do is pull in those who own the registration and stuff and tell them why you bring these people to Guyana. That's what you should do. They're scrapes. What is a scrape? This is ridiculous. Trying to find this image for y'all. Bear with me. I've had it. I must find it. I have to find it. We are doing an injustice to an entire generation of people, forgetting that you'll need them to defend the country. Because every Guyanese, you have a constitutional right to protect or defend the nation. Because in socialism, the nation is yours. In socialism, we all earn and we all benefit, so we all build the nation. We don't build the nation for the PPP's friends and families. We build the nation for us as a people. That's socialism. In socialism, every Guyanese enjoys the fruit of their labor. But you kick to classify people, categorize them. I don't think I'm finding that image. Before I go, look at this, Irfan. Look at this Guyanese. What makes it so important? This is our constitution. Land to the tiller. This is a law. Land is for social use because we are a socialist nation and must go to the tiller. The land in Mocha Arcadia, the land where people want to farm, once they're farming that land, by law, not by favor, they have to get the land. You don't bulldoze land and tell them, "Well, we want this land here, you're in Norway, and take it away." Land is for social use, not for the friends of the PVP who want to build a business somewhere. And land must go to the tiller. This is the law. It's actually written in law in Guyana. Further, personal property. Every citizen 19 has the right to own personal property, which includes such assets as dwelling houses and the land on which they stand, the houses stand, farmsteads. Do you hear that? You have a right to own a farmstead. And if I'm farming and I'm working my land, then the land belongs to me. It should be given to me. Yet you have rich boys now coming up to rice farmers and others saying, this land is me own. Come off. Fabricating documents to take away people's land. In some cases, they have no document, but they have political connection telling people, get off this land. And if you don't move, then you make a phone call to Freedom House or call somebody and they send the police and move you. That's our reality in this country. You are unjust. And whoever reacts, whoever gets annoyed and enraged, you are terrorists. Tell me, please, y'all, please tell me, when have you ever seen at any time in this country one person or one family earn so much prime land? Land that can generate revenue of tens of billions of dollars. Tell me, when have you ever seen that under any other administration? Where one family in a city area can earn or gain so much prime property. But we know who owns it. We know who are called frontmen to front the business and who behind the scene making, of course, the calls because they own the business. I will present to you. I'll present to you all. You don't have to vote for people or for me. Vote with your voice. A vote is a voice, not association. Let your voice be heard because I'm telling you now that should the people's movement have any say in what goes forward in this country, and reference to administration of it, this what you call appropriation of land. We will take it from you. Take it back. I don't care who signed what. And let any judge say that you, the Guyanese people, do not own the land and don't have the rights to it. If it would have been somebody trying to call me up because let them tell us that we're wrong. It's called appropriation. We'll take a land away from you. So you better spend a whole lot of money to keep the PPP where they are, because I'm telling you that if ever the people's movement or anybody with sense you are not going to get away with this. We will take the land back from you. We shall take it back. Can you all hear me? I hope you can. Somebody keeps calling my phone. Let me see this one said. I know he's hurt. This one on the platform. Stephen King. Oh my God. Not this fool. Let's give him, this one to retire. So let me give him a second. Remind me how much land they give Lowenfield and Linden. I don't know. They give Lowenfield land in Linden? How much? Or is it Figueroa? Who you talking about? Who got land? I don't know if Lowenfield owning land in Linden. People spoke about Figueroa having land in Linden after the elections that were during that period. Or so doing it. You won't waste the time with me. First of all, you don't even have an identity that's known to people. So I just entertain because I want people to see how you all process. So whenever you raise a point, and that's when you know how corrupt the PPP administration would happen to be. Once you say you're thieves, we have evidence you stole. Oh, Upton stole. Guyanese, do you understand the point? Once you say, listen, you took prime land from people. Look, you're building all these houses and Guyanese can't benefit from the land. Or going to give somebody 5 acres of land. They cannot say that that is wrong. They'll say Granger did it. So we're in a country whereby it is okay to do wrong because Upton did wrong. Or did wrong. That's our country now. We're led by people who are saying, allow us to do wrong. This is our time to thief because Abdul stole. It's our time to harass you because somebody else did it. It's not about following the law. It's taking opportunities while you're in. Stephen King, you're supporting Barrett. Barrett is going to take away your phones. Believe me. Barrett is going to take away your phone because you're hurting this man. You're hurting Barrett miserably and he's going to take your phone away. And I agree with him this time. Because you're hurting this fella. As long as you obtain land in what is found to be an unjust or an unlawful manner, it shall be taken from you. Period. Further, if it's proven that you paid and did your deals to get this land, you and who you paid will be dealt with. You talking about 15 years in jail and death sentence? Okay. Oh, okay. That's why I am not going to deal with any soft politician who wants to make you all escape. What we'll have will be men and women who have guts to deal with you all the way it should be dealt with. I'm so fortunate this morning for the PPP trolls to malfunction because you're making my life so easy. The first one who said the terrorists are those who looting. So the one with the gun in his hand and more in a public place, which is breaking the law. The ones who are burning tires and throwing rocks in the truck and bursting the little children head in the bus over election, they're not terrorists because they weren't looting. So the only ones who are terrorists are those who loot to affect the businessmen who, of course, the PPP have here. You terrorists. Then Stephen King came to say that it's okay for the PPP to give their friends land, prime land, because Lowenfield got land. Makes perfect sense. I just love how you all function today. Bar, please don't take the phone. Let them function like this all the time. Adriana has caused a change in this nation because her death has revealed the minds and the hearts of those who you thought were nice people, whom you thought were decent, who just wanted to be in the political circle and stuff. She has revealed that businessmen care more about business than Adriana. She has revealed that those who are businessmen and are friends with the PPP care more about their business than they do about Adriana's situation. Boycott them all. I'm calling on you all to have a boycott. Don't play with these people. Don't spend your money on them because for them, Adriana doesn't matter. One of them did she not say, that she could not care less. She's now lost all interest. She doesn't care anymore about Adriana's situation because of what came out, what became of it. Can't remember her name. I'll type her name. Let the words make her famous. I shared it yesterday. She said that she essentially would have lost all interest in the situation. Because of what it's become, she has lost. Ah, there it is. There it is. I hope it can come up on my screen. Yes, here it is. Jennifer, I could care less for the child himself. I'm putting on the screen here, fam. Let me show you how people think. Their minds. I could care less for the child. Listen to mother. She has two children. I could care less for the child at this point because of the outcome. This whole situation, the looting, the fighting, and all that, takes away the sympathy and justice the child needs. Because if you loot somebody, so they're no longer going to care about Adriana. What a nation to live in. What a country to be a part of. When a mother could say that she could care less for the child. My God, even reading that makes my stomach turn. A mother who has a girl child could say that she could care less for a child because of looting and fighting that take place afterwards. Oh my God. Diana, Guyanese, and you wonder why disaster would not strike this nation? You wonder why some people just suffer the way they suffer in this life? She's only one of many. She could care less about this girl. Oh my God. People, let me go and do my work. Let me do my work. I should go to my job. Come, Stephen King, make a comment on that before I leave. Let me see if we can see the S. Stephen King, make a comment on YouTube. Comment about what you just saw. Guess who she works? Guess with what she's a part of? The capitalist group. She's a part of a business family. Do I need to say more? This person is a part of a family that has a business in Diamond. So what do you do? Okay, let me make it clear again. So she's a part of a family who owns a business. So the businesses are affected, not hers, but businesses are affected. What do you say? I could care less for the child. Y'all get the point what I'm seeking to in reference to capitalism here? What matters to us is that you don't touch anything that affects us financially. That's why businessmen will tell you that they can't make comments now because Bart is going to take away the contract. They would lose money. They boycott them. They no longer have contract to supply chicken to the army. When the army supply chicken for itself, whatever it is that happens, we can't do this. We can't supply cheese. We can't supply bread. So if we talk, they're going to take away our contract. We won't say anything because capitalism is about money. The wealthy rule, not the people rule. They can call you and say, hey, we don't like what happened here. We can't get to go. More trucks can't pass through Linden. Hey, shoot and kill them because the trucks have to pass. That is capitalism. Her comment encapsulated capitalism. All that pertains to capitalism. She has made the perfect comment to explain exactly what I said to you. She said it herself. You don't care about the child if your business is being affected. Thank you, Irfaan, because we know that the PPP and the Private Sector Commission are bosom buddies. Thank you for showing us who matter. Thank you for showing us that a terrorist is one, according to the comment here, who loots. Nothing else. Thank you. And I'm grateful that Adriana's death has caused so much to be revealed in this country. We would have never known unless an 11-year-old girl would have suffered the way she did. Thank you, Irfaan, for showing us that when we can see a pool is empty just to protect the oligarchs, an oligarchy is a form of business where the rich rule your country. To protect the oligarchs, you prepare to tell a nation of intelligent people that the pool has somebody in. There was nobody in the pool, or as a matter of fact, the pathologist told you that she wasn't put there. She drowned right in there. Thank you, Irfaan, for making our lives so easy to see you for exactly what you are. Thank you.